Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chillin' with Steve T. I have the Mystery Street Recording Studio owner and producer, Joe Tessone, with me today. Joe, go ahead and say hi to the people.
Hey people, how you doing?
So it's been a couple of weeks since we've been emailing each other back and forth and trying to set this thing up, and I'm happy I finally got to meet you in person, man.
Thanks, yeah, good to meet you as well.
A lot prettier than the pictures. So how does it feel to be back at Columbia?
It's cool. It's like I always like coming back over here. I'll definitely have to go walk around in the old audio department again before I leave. But yeah, I spent a lot of time around here, so yeah, it's always good to be back.
Yeah, nice nostalgia trip.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll go say hi to a couple of teachers or something, right?
Hopefully bump into some people.
What was your major at Columbia while you were here? And when did you attend Columbia? Because it's been a little bit, hasn't it? A couple years?
Yeah, I graduated in 2007. My major was audio design and production.
So when you were going to school and doing the audio department, were you working other jobs or internships or anything like that?
Yeah, while I was in school, I was working at Starbucks actually.
Oh,
And
nice, same.
yeah, yeah. I eventually left there. I was actually organizing a union while I was there, and I confronted the CEO at a certain point and to make demands for myself and my coworkers. And then I got fired a couple days later.
Yeah, I would assume.
But yeah, we actually had a really good, strong union organizing campaign. So that a lot of my background is actually in community organizing and things like that. So that was something that was actually a big part of what I was doing while I was actually in school. But beyond that too, yeah, I was in the audio world. I took an internship at the Old Town School of Folk Music in my senior year, in my last semester. And then that actually brought a lot of things my way.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, so you kids out there, get your internships in, all right? They're worth it. Don't think they're not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like my internship at the Old Town School was, I would say, the number one thing that pushed my career forward.
Oh, wow.
Right after graduating, they offered me a job there. And so I was on staff there for about 2.5 or 3 years before moving all of the work I was doing there into Mystery Street. So now I do it on a consulting basis, but the same work, but doing it on my own through the studio. But that was, from getting work right out of school, which then helped me pay for school, which was nice. So one of my things I'm really proud of is going, hey, all of the money that it cost me to go to school, I paid for. All of the loans I took out have been paid through doing audio.
Holy crap.
So it's like, that's something I was like, that was one of my big goals. So I was able to do that. And even through school, I was doing freelance work. I had a home studio before I graduated and was already making money doing that while I was in school and using that to pay for my tuition as I was going.
What kind of freelance work? Because you're a producer too, so were you like making beats and stuff like that,
no,
or editing?
Just recording. Recording, mixing. And I had a home studio. I set up like the back room of my apartment as a recording room. My bedroom was a control room, and I was just recording bands back there.
Nice.
It worked. I was lucky. I had neighbors who didn't really care that we made a bunch of noise all the time, and it worked out okay. But yeah, even when I was at Old Town, that's where I met the guy who I rented my studio from. So when I was looking to open up Mystery Street, me and my former business partner, we were going around just trying to find places, and I just happened to be mentioned to the cafe manager at Old Town School. Oh yeah, I'm looking for a place to open a studio. And he goes, oh, I have a studio space for rent. You want to come check it out? I'm like, yeah, sure. So that night I went over there and we checked the place out, and it was like exactly what we needed. And so we just started renting there, and it was more money than we had hoped to spend originally, but it was all built out. And so that in the long run saved us a lot of time and money. So it just needed some renovations and to clean it up to get it up to our standard. And but yeah, just like it was through that internship that I found this person, and then was able to get this space. And 5 years after renting there, he put the building up for sale, and I bought it. So now I'm living there with my family, and it's a 3 flat, so we live upstairs, and we're in the studio on the in the other spaces in the building. And but yeah, it was like it really, all comes back to that internship, which I'm still doing work for. It's 12 years later, and we're still doing work for the Old Town School.
That's unfreaking believable. Yeah. After 5 years of just renting the place, you own it. You own the whole building.
Yeah.
And you're living there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
So yeah, internships are important.
Yeah,
you never know who you're going to meet, and it can really take you a long way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Especially like you said, it rounds right back to that. It wouldn't have really started or gotten to where it is if you didn't have that first internship. Mm-hmm. So you said it was about 12 years ago. Is that when Mystery Street really started coming together?
Yeah. It was June of 2007 that we opened. So yeah, it's been going on 12 years now.
Oh wow, nice, man. Yeah, you guys just had your anniversary a little bit ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple of years. So how'd you guys come up with the name Mystery Street? Like I was like, I don't know, it's kind of out there.
Yeah. Well, me and my old business partner, we had home studios, and neither of us really cared for the names of them, and nor did we care for each other's names of the studio. So I didn't like his, he didn't like mine, and we didn't really like our own. So we were like, we got to come up with just something fresh, and we were just sitting there. We had the next day we were meeting with the business lawyer guy to incorporate everything, and we didn't know anything about that stuff at the time, and like, well, we just got to come up with a name. So we were just sitting in his minivan, just we had an iPod playing, and we were just listening to every song, and taking lyrics out and going, blank blank studio, blank blank company, blank blank recording company, and just coming up with all the stuff. And then eventually a song came on called Mystery Street, and we went, Mystery Street Recording Company. We're like, hey, that works, it sounds cool. Like that sounds appropriate for what we're doing.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah. And and it's funny because like a lot of people seem drawn to us specifically because of the name. They go, oh yeah, you just had the coolest name of a studio, so we wanted to, just had to go here. Like, oh, that's awesome. It's
that's what I was gonna say. It caught my eye. Like when I heard about it, I was like, Mystery Street. Like, huh? All right, interesting. Like, what's the mystery? What's going on here?
yeah, totally. It gives kind of a creative vibe, and so yeah, people like it, and it's worked for us.
Yeah, that's awesome too, that you started from a home studio, bringing it out into renting one, using it as a workspace and whatever, and then making it your home. You just took a whole studio and you're like, nah, I'm going to live here now.
Yeah. Which is, it's a
cool progression to see.
Totally. Yeah. And living in the same space that you work is, it's a blessing and a curse. And, you never really stop working. You feel like you have to keep going back to work. And sometimes there's, days, weeks where I don't leave the building. So it's like
just lock yourself in the studio.
So I like to be able to get out and do field trips like this, to just go on the Yell and come downtown for a morning is it's a nice treat.
Yeah, man, we're happy to have you. So I saw on your website that you guys are recommended by the Library of Congress for archiving.
Yeah.
How do you get something like that?
Yeah.
That kind of title?
So I got my start in audio archiving and audio preservation through Old Town School.
Okay.
And when we first started that project, we were one of the only places in the country that was actually doing audio archiving. So we were really, starting to just invent that idea of how to do this and how to do it the right way. And there were a few places like Indiana University and the Library of Congress were the other two.
Oh,
so,
okay.
In the Old Town schools, like, we were talking a lot with Indiana University and Library of Congress to come up with these ideas and like the best practices and ways to do this. So I started doing some research, and I basically learned that on my own, based on what people had already been doing on in those two other organizations. And so we ended up getting a really good connection with Library of Congress through the Old Town School as well, and sharing ideas, things like that. And eventually, they put us on their list of places they recommend, because not only we're one of the only places that really do that type of work, but we are definitely one of the only places that do that to the same specifications that they do. Mm-hmm. So we hold ourselves to to best practices for audio archiving, and while that is can be incredibly challenging to do that, with maintaining equipment, maintaining a certain level of quality with the transfer, with organization. It, to me, is like, if we're going to do it the right way.
So you've been doing a ton of local music, a ton of local bands for over 10 years now. I've heard you getting with Blind Adam and the Federal League, and also the Polkaholics and a couple other ones, you know, just to name a few. I'm sure there's hundreds of them. So the Polkaholics are a real distinct, like, you know, they got all the different instruments that they're doing. How is it compared to doing just a not regular rock band, but a rock band like the Blind Adam and the Federal League?
Yeah, so, Blind Adam is, so we go way back. So
yeah, both of these bands, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, Adam and I have
history.
known each other for, I guess, 20 years now. So he was, when I was in high school, I played in a punk band called The Exiled, and I was the lead singer of that band. And
you look like a punk band guy.
Adam was the lead singer of this ska punk band in the next town over. And, we both had like the cool bands in high school, and we'd all get together and do like house shows all the time, like, basement shows, garage shows, and
anywhere you could set up.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we spent like 2 years just playing shows together, these little these house shows. So we got to know each other really well, and in this like really small, close-knit punk scene in the southwest suburbs. And we eventually kind of parted ways, and but it's kind of come back around now. He's got this this new band going, and I mastered his last record. They put out a full length last year, which I mastered, and then he just came back and did a new 7-inch with me, which I recorded the whole thing and mastered. And that one is actually coming out on AF Records, which is the record label from Anti-Flag. And he and I actually first met at an Anti-Flag show about 20 years ago. So it's just like, it's come full circle, which is like so crazy. I've had a lot of like good friends at Anti-Flag shows. It's just been kind of really funny. So yeah, he and it's just it's cool that it's come back around that way. And that record, we recorded all of the rhythm tracks on our 2-inch tape machine, which we just picked up this past summer. And so we're in a lot of ways going in different directions in the studio. We've had a Pro Tools system for a while, doing the digital thing and with a mix of analog equipment. But now we're like trying to push forward, more with classic recording techniques, doing more analog stuff as well. And so with that record, we did a good mix of the two. So recorded all the rhythm tracks to tape, dumped them into Pro Tools, then recorded overdubs in Pro Tools, and mixed with a blend of analog and digital in the same way.
Yeah, really get that precious sound that comes from that old school recording.
Yeah, we wanted this to sound like a classic punk record, but with a little bit of a modern edge to it. So it's a really cool sounding record, but like the songs are really powerful too. So for me, like the music I like is music that has a good message. And is emotionally powerful. I don't really care what genre of music you play if you have something to say that's worth hearing. And so to me, that's really the most important thing. And this record in particular is really powerful in that way.
Mm-hmm. So how is it kind of being with these bands and stuff? You really get to know them, and you get to know them off mic personally. Do a lot of them become this kind of friendship that you have? Do they come back to record their albums and stuff? Because you said you've done numerous with Polkaholics and a few with the Blind Adam and the Federal League. So you obviously make some kind of good connection, right?
Definitely, yeah, and that's a lot of what the recording business is. It's like it's all relationship based, and you spend so much time with these people that you're recording that you're just bound to become friends, or you end up hating each other. But most of the time you become friends, and because honestly, I'll spend more time with my recording clients than I do like the the people I call my friends, because it just you're stuck in a room with somebody for hours and hours and hours and hours, and so yeah, you're bound to get to know each other really well, and so they coming back around, and the more you work with somebody, the more you get to know how they work and the sound that they like and all of those things, and so the process becomes easier, a little bit more laid back, a little bit more fun, the more you work with somebody, because it's less like figuring out like what are they going for, and more, hey, let's just do this, and it just becomes second nature as far as the work goes, and it's just more hanging out and making music together.
Yeah.
So what's fun is like at that point, it's like you're part of the band, and and in the same sense as like the drummer or guitar player would be. Whereas like on a first record with somebody, it's a lot more technical. It's going, okay, I got to figure this out. Like you're auditioning for the band at the first record, and then after that, like you're in the band. So it becomes more fun, the more you work with somebody, and that's how how you survive in the recording business, is this repeat relationship. And bands will record a record once every 2 years, and if you're lucky, and if they haven't already broken up after the first record. So it's not like getting a regular client at like a coffee shop where it's like they're coming in every day. It's you've got to get them back on that second time around 2 years later, and that's a big gap between that. So you've got to have a lot of different clients that you're working with who are coming back for that second record, but you need to fill those gaps between year 1 and year 3. So you got to and you can't work on too many at once, because it's just there's not enough hours in the day.
Oh God.
So
no,
it's like finding that way to space them out and get keep everybody coming in a way that makes sense for your life. It also is able to keep a studio open. So it's building those relationships and friendships is goes a long way. I always try to come out to people's record release shows and things like that, because it's you become a part of that record. It's not just I'm doing this service and see you later. A lot of my creative energy goes into it in the same way. So same way that theirs did when they're writing it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, being part of the band, you become part of this. You're putting in your creative energy, your creative outlook, and really trying to help form something beautiful here. Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's a lot. It sounds a lot like radio, where I have different artists or whoever come in, try and make friends with them, go to their release parties or their shows or whatever, and just show support, just show some love out there. It ain't too bad. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's a good time. Joe, where can people find you and Mystery Street Records? On the internet, on social media? How can people get in touch with you and maybe set up a session?
Yeah, mysterystreetrecording.com is the best way to see what we do. We got a contact page on there. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So, but yeah, check those out.
All at Mystery Street Recording?
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Guys, so go check them out, Mystery Street Recording. Thank you again for coming in, man. You heard it here first, Mystery Street Recording with owner and producer Joe Tessone. Go check them out. Go check out the bands they got. We got the Polkaholics, Blind Adam, and the Federal League we talked about today, and they have a ton of others that are coming through the studio, so go check them out, guys. Thank you for listening, you beautiful beings, and I'll be back next time.